Now, first method is your Victor-Mayer's method. Now, Victor-Mayer's method basically is being used to calculate the molecular mass of a volatile substance. Volatile, you understand? Which turns into a gas at a low temperature. That's said to be as a volatile substance. Number one, point number one. It is used to calculate the molecular mass of a substance. This method is used to calculate the molecular mass of a substance which is volatile in nature. Okay. Now, how will you do so? You will take the known weight of a substance. Let the weight of the substance. You will weigh the substance. Let us say it is W gram. Okay. Now, what you do is that you just put that particular substance in a hot tube, in a hot glass tube. You put it. So, as it is being volatile, as I said you already, it is volatile substance. So, it will volatilize out. Volatilize out means the gases will come out. Now collect these gases over water. Alright, how will you collect the gases? You have read it in the lower classes. You collect the gases by the downward displacement of water. So you collect these gases over water. Alright, now make sure that these gases are insoluble in water. Alright, that you have to make sure. The gases which you are going to collect it by Victor-Mayer's method should be insoluble in water. So gases are insoluble in water and you are collecting these gases over by downward displacement of water. Alright. Now when you are collecting these gases, listen very carefully, it displaces air. Let us say the air which is displaced by gases. Alright, let us say the gas displaces some air, isn't it? Hot gas, it is going to displace the air. Let volume of air which is displaced, okay, is V1 ml or liter, whatever you can say that. The volume of air which is displaced. Clear? Fine. Now, you are collecting the gases, got it? You are collecting the gases over water, you are collecting the gases. Clear? Upon heating, you are doing so. Now, let us say the volume of air which is displaced V1 ml, it is at what you can say temperature. Now, temperature that is T1 Kelvin. Got it? Volume is V1, temperature is T1 Kelvin, this is Kelvin, and the weight of the substance is W gram. Now, next is the volume of air which is displaced and which you are collecting over water. Alright. Now, this particular volume which you are collecting over water, remember that you are converting this volume, you are measuring the volume of the gas which you have collected over water under STP condition. Alright, under standard temperature and pressure conditions, under that particular conditions you have collected the gas and you have what you can say measured the volume of the gas or the volume of the air which you have collected. Alright, clear? Now, next is what I said you that V1 is the volume of the air displaced, alright, when the temperature is T1 Kelvin. Fine. Now, where you have collected the what you can say the gas, you have collected over water. That means the gas becomes moist. Now, remember it. I am going to use here the gas laws to what you can say to calculate the molecular weight of Victor-Mayer's method. I have to use the gas law. Now, again same thing. Gas law. Many of you haven't studied, especially CBSE student. You haven't studied. That is Boyle's law, Charles' law, and all these things. Alright, you haven't studied. But one thing you remember it, when you will study the gas laws, you will study in class 11 only. States of matter, one chapter is there, you will study there, gas laws. So there you remember it, whichever gas law you are studying it, whether it's Boyle's law, Charles' law, Dalton's law, or pressure temperature law, any law, or any gas laws is true when the gas is dry. If the gas is moist, then we cannot apply the gas laws. Alright? If the gas is moist, then we cannot apply the gas laws. Why? If the gas is moist, why can't we apply the gas laws? Because moisture may react with the gases. For example, sulfur dioxide will react with water to form sulfurous acid. Is sulfurous acid a gas? Can you apply the gas laws? No. Carbon dioxide reacts with water to form carbonic acid. Is it a gas? No. Nitrogen dioxide reacts with water to form nitrous acid or nitric acid. Is it a gas? No. So hence, how will you apply? For that particular purpose, remember that when you apply the gas laws, it is a gas law. So the gas has to be in the dry state. So how will you convert it in the dry state? Now let us say, let pressure of moist gas, okay, is P1. Alright? Pressure of the moist gas is P1 atm. Pressure is measured in atm. Let us say it is atm. Now, pressure of moisture. Very simple it is. From pressure of moist gas, if I remove the moisture, alright, what will I get? I will get the pressure of the dry gas. So here moisture means you will use a word here in this particular Victor Mates method. He has used a word aqueous tension. Aqueous tension means what? Pressure of moisture. Mind it. So how much it is? Let us say small p atm. Therefore, pressure of dry gas, it will be how much? P1 minus small p. Alright, atm. That's it. So hence it is always necessary that you calculate the pressure of the dry gas. Always it is necessary. How will you do so? Pressure of the moist gas, because the gas which you are collecting is a moist gas. Definitely you are collecting over water. Then pressure of the moisture is PATM, that is aqueous tension. So what is the pressure of the dry gas? This one. Finished. Now, next is you will put this formula in the perfect gas equation. You will put this particular formula in the perfect gas equation. You will put it. Now, what is that perfect gas equation is? What is that equation? See here. That is P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. This is your perfect gas equation. Alright, this particular equation is known as, or combined gas equation also it is being said as. Now the question is, how do we get it this particular one? Clear? See, according to Boyle's law, mind it, I am saying in short to you. I will teach you in states of matter in details. In short, just to tell you about the equation from where I got, hence I am saying you. According to Boyle's law, volume is inversely proportional to pressure when temperature remains constant. Alright, this is equation 1. Volume is inversely proportional to pressure when temperature remains constant. That means when pressure increases, volume decreases. Definitely, you take a cylinder, you apply the pressure, the volume of the gas is going to decrease. Alright. So volume is inversely proportional to pressure when temperature remains constant for given mass of a dry gas. Fine. Now Charles' law says that volume is directly proportional to temperature when pressure remains constant. Listen carefully. Volume is directly proportional to temperature. What temperature? Kelvin temperature or absolute temperature. When pressure remains constant, that means temperature increases, volume increases. Definitely. How will you understand it? Very simple experiment. You take a bottle, an empty bottle. You put it in a trough containing hot water. You understand a trough? Dekchi jisko bolte hain. You put it in a trough containing hot water. The empty glass bottle. Nothing is there inside it. Now put a balloon at the mouth of the bottle. What you will find? The air which is there inside the bottle, it will expand. Why it is going to expand? It is because it is going to gain the heat from the water which is present in the trough. The water is hot. So the air inside the bottle will expand. Where it will go? It will go upwards. In upwards, what you have put? At the mouth of the bottle, what you have put? Balloon. So the balloon is going to expand. As the hot air, what you can say, expands, the balloon also expands. So hence volume is directly proportional to temperature. More about it I will say you when I will teach you states of matter. Now you combine it, this two equation, you combine it. So what you get it? V is directly proportional to T by P. V is directly proportional to T by P. Now to remove the proportional sign, I want a constant, isn't it? K T by P. K is what? Proportionality constant. K T by P. K is a proportionality constant. So P V by T is equal to K. We get it? So for different values of pressure, volume and temperature, for different values under different conditions, what will you get? P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2 is equal to P3 V3 by T3 is equal to P4 V4 by T4. It goes on in this way. But I want only this for the timing now. Hence I got the perfect gas equation is P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. I think it's clear to you from where I got this particular equation. Okay. So I'll be using this, what you can say, in the perfect gas equation I'll be using this one. So P1, what is that? The pressure of the dry gas. V1, I've already said you, the volume of the air displaced. T1 is the temperature, initial temperature. P2 is at STP, the temperature is, pressure is basically at, pressure is 1 atm. STP means what? Standard temperature pressure, where pressure is 1 atm and temperature is basically 273 Kelvin. So V2 you will calculate. You will get the volume of, that is V2. Clear? Understood? Now, next is, listen here, what I want to calculate. Remember, molecular weight I am going to calculate. So, Now V2 ml of air, alright, or gas, whatever you can say that. Here let me write. Weighs how much gram? W gram. Remember it, what I said? It is W gram, we can say that. Therefore 22400 ml. From where I got it, this one? I told you last class. Molar volume of a gas. Molar volume of a gas is how much? 22.4 liter. Alright, 22.4 liter is equal to how much it will be? 22400 ml, because 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml. So multiply 1000 here, you will be getting it. Alright, this is what? Molar volume of a gas. And molar volume of a gas is how, what is that? It is nothing but molecular weight. You see the relationship which I did in the last class, vapor density and molecular weight. You see that? Once again, if you don't understand, you will understand it. So molar volume of a gas is how much? This much is equal to molecular weight. So 22400 ml of air weighs how much? W by V2 into 22400 ml. So this will give you what? Molecular weight of substance. This will ultimately give you the molecular weight of substance. In this way, by Victor-Meyer's method, we calculate the molecular weight of a substance. Basically, you need to understand that whatever the, because see, you do in the numericals. So this all values will be given to you. P1, V1, T1, P2, P2, everything will be given to you. V2 will be unknown. So you will use this formula and calculate V2 from here. This V2 you will put it here and you will say that V2 ml of air weighs W grams, so 22400 ml weighs how much, and hence you get the molecular weight. Thank you very much.